Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to go over everything important that's coming in the Anniversary update, which just dropped today. These are the full and complete patch notes, which you can find linked in the description, and these include the changes that have been made since the PTS came out, so you'll want to stay tuned to see what they changed in regards to that. But let's go ahead and get started with the first thing on the list, which is the Anniversary event. And we finally get to see basically a detailed description of how everything works with all of the stuff laid out. And so, yeah, pay attention because I'm going to show you how you can get some free stuff. This is pretty darn sick. Just a really nice celebration event. So this is a free event track that gives you rewards just for playing games during our Anniversary update. This operates just like the event pass. It basically is its own event pass, but you don't have to pay for it. It's entirely free. Nothing in it is behind a paywall, and it's also not replacing the Midnight Masquerade event pass. So you'll basically have the Midnight Masquerade event pass over here, still grind that if you need to, and then you'll also have the Anniversary event pass at the same time. So yeah, just want to clarify that. It's not replacing your Midnight event pass. You don't have to freak out that like, oh, I didn't grind it all the way. No, it's still here. It's still here. And also, Universal Party Elimination VFX will be live for the whole event. There are some custom VFX that basically make people explode with balloons and confetti whenever you kill them. That'll be live for every champion and every skin during this update. Once the update is over, these will go away, except for the limited skins, which we'll talk about later. So let's check out some of these rewards. Just by logging in, not even playing a game, you can get the 5th Anniversary Celebration title, which is pretty neat, but I think we care more about playing one game, because we can get this unique chest, which is basically the Anniversary chest. It's a recolor of the Radiant chest, for those of you who know. And yeah, this basically contains one of 5 unique skins that are coming this update to commemorate Paladins' 5th Anniversary. You also will get a gold chest for playing one game, so very, very lucrative to just get on Paladins and play a game. And yeah, also, I might add, it's a good time to convince your friends to get on, because they can get some free stuff too. This is a great time to be playing Paladins right now. So yeah, get everybody together, play in a 5-stack. Get the gang together, play some Paladins. It's going to be great. And then yeah, play 2 games, you get this Andro avatar. Play 4 games, you get this really sick looking loading frame. I'm not usually someone who cares too much about loading frames because I usually just use the ranked frame, but this one actually looks really sick. I would consider actually using it, so yeah, really nice. And then play 5 games, you get a free champion unlock and 100 crystals. So if you know somebody who might be interested in Paladins and would be willing to give the game a try, now is the best time to get new players into the game because for just playing 5 games, they will get a free champion, which is definitely way faster than you normally get champions. And if you're like me and you have all the champions already, you will also get 100 crystals for this tier of this sort of Anniversary pass. So yeah, very, very nice tier here as well. 6 games, you get this lovely looking Ying avatar, and for 8 games you get a spray, which is a very detailed and sort of almost gothic crystal. Really like that. For 9 games, you get another free champion if you are one of those new players that doesn't have all the champions unlocked, and you will also get a gold chest, so even more skins here. Then for 10 games, you get this Victor avatar. 12 games will get you another free champion unlock, and a diamond chest. 14 games gets you this Ceres avatar, which is also looking pretty sick. And for 15 games, you will get a limited skin token and a Midnight Masquerade Event Pass XP. So if you don't have the Midnight Masquerade Event Pass finished, you will get some XP towards that. But yeah, the limited skin token. This is something very, very special, and we can talk a little bit about that here. So the limited skin token, you'll only get one of them. Very important. Only one. But with that limited skin token, you'll be able to select from these limited skins from past battle passes. So the battle pass era that was in like 2019, 2020 era. Yeah, these are the limited skins from those battle passes. The regular versions of these skins have come back through chests and stuff like that. You guys know the drill. What, like the 2019 battle pass chests and stuff like that? Yeah, no, these are the limited versions of those skins. These skins have not been in the game as an available thing to collect since the Battle Pass ended. So, like, for example, Redux Strix. This is the limited black recolor of that sort of disco ravey skin that's normally gold and white. So these are very limited skins, and yeah, this is a very cool thing that we're able to get one of these skins for free. You get to choose, but you only get one of them. So choose wisely, right? Maybe give it some thought, but there are a lot of really good skins here. Personally, I'm going for Redux Strix, just because I already have most of these, and out of the ones I don't have, this is definitely the coolest one. But yeah, again, a lot of good stuff here, so yeah, definitely recommend playing 15 games so you can get one of these skins. So much free stuff, it's amazing. Now, let's talk about the Anniversary chest. Now, this chest is all the way up here. This is what you get for playing one game. You only get one of them for free, and inside this chest there are 5 skins. So we've already gone over these skins in the previous Battle Pass, or excuse me, not Battle Pass, the previous update video. So if you want to see like more detail on these skins, I would recommend checking that out. I'll also probably have videos of each of these skins coming up here on the channel in the coming weeks, so I'd recommend subscribing as well if you want to see some proper gameplay of that. But these are skins of 5 of the most popular and iconic Paladins champions throughout the entirety of Paladins history. So you're going to look at these skins and be like, oh wait, Andrew? Why is he getting a skin? He already has like 16. That's precisely the point. He's one of the most popular champions. And so, yeah, the popular kids get the cool skins, I guess. And these skins all do look pretty sick. In particular, I love the little black crystal pattern on the bottom of these. Looks very formal and very, very cool. Yeah, I get a nice detailed view of that. I like the blue contrast as well. And all of these weapons have custom weapon VFX. If you don't want to use the actual base skin, I understand, but you can use the weapon with different skins and still get some really sick VFX. They all shoot like confetti and have balloons and all sorts of cool stuff. Really nice, colorful animations. And yeah, some of them even have like a bunch of unique stuff going on, like down here, yeah, this Maeve skin, when Maeve like ults, she twirls her daggers, and that has like a really cool circular effect going on. So the VFX work is really top notch. But yeah, here's Maeve. You'll notice these are all default skins, but with some added accessories, like Maeve has the cat burglar ears up there, as well as a birthday hat, which I think is really cute. And yeah, another really good skin. Next up we have Saris. This is another really nice skin, although I would say the skin itself probably is a little bit, like, on the worst side compared to these skins, but the weapon, on the other hand, the weapon, oh my goodness, probably the best weapon out of all of them. Especially the VFX, too. Saris has some really cool VFX, especially when she ults. Probably my favorite one in the VFX department. After that, we have Celebrant Soldier Victor. This is using the old default Victor model instead of the new one, which I think a lot of us veterans will really appreciate. He's got the eye patch on, and he's got a birthday hat to celebrate. He is looking absolutely dapper. I love his pants. that pattern is just so cool. But yeah, probably the least VFX out of the bunch, just because it's a basic gun. And then lastly, we have, oh my gosh, we have Goth Ying. Oh my god. And this one looks amazing as well. Definitely, I like the details on the black mask and the black sort of eyeshadow and stuff going on there. Really sick looking skin. Probably the best looking skin out of the bunch. And yeah, those are the 5 skins you can get. So you can get one of these skins for free up here for reaching level 1, or playing one game here in this Anniversary Update Pass. And then the rest of them you will have to buy. They need to make money somehow. You basically just buy 4 more chests, you get all of these skins if you want. But yeah, still, the fact you get one of these for free is pretty cool. And again, one free limited skin here from the limited skin token, as well as a diamond chest, multiple gold chests. Just a bunch of free stuff, man. Just play the game, tell your friends to play the game, get the 5 stacks going, get the new players into the game as well, get everybody in here. It's a party. Bunch of free stuff you can get. Very, very cool event here. So yeah, don't miss out on this. Next up, let's talk about Siege Remixed. So Siege Remixed is basically old Siege. Siege from all the way back in the closed beta, coming back to the future. So Atlas basically rewound all of these back here. And it's not quite the same as the super old Siege. If some of you remember, old Siege had like a siege engine, you had to destroy gates, you had to destroy a vault, stuff like that. It's not that. Instead, the way this works, and you'll know this if you've seen any of my PTS videos recently, is at the beginning of the round, one of 3 available capture points will be randomly selected. And then new payload paths will be generated as a result. So basically you'll capture one of the points, like this point here in Enchanted Forest, and yeah, then the payload, you'll see this little blue track. Let me zoom in so you can really see that. Yeah, so you have the point here. When the payload is captured, then you will basically follow this blue line all the way over to the base. And at that point, it basically follows regular siege rules. But the point is, you have one of 3 available capture points randomly selected. So hopefully each capture point will be a totally unique experience, and the maps are also gigantically long. Flanking is crazy, they're really tall, they're really wide, they're really, really fun maps to play on, and I do absolutely love these layouts. And the cool thing about these is all 3 of the maps available here got split up into the maps we know today, and it even lists it here. Enchanted Forest, as you can clearly see by this point here, became Fish Market, and it also has some influence on Timber Mill. Temple Ruins here eventually became Serpent Beach, as you can see on the left, Jaguar Falls, as you can see in the middle, and all the way in the back right you can see Frog Isle there, although Frog Isle definitely looks the most different out of the 3. And then Glacier Keep. This map is a masterpiece. A genuine masterpiece. I love this map to death. This map is so beautiful. And it eventually became Ice Mines and Frozen Guard, and the 3rd capture point here eventually became its own map, also called Glacier Keep, but it was removed later in the beta. And so you can see here, this is the old Frozen Guard dome before Frozen Guard got its visual rework. Back here is Ice Mines, and then off screen to the back right is Glacier Keep, and I love this map. Frozen Guard and Ice Mines aren't necessarily great maps today, in their present state, but with all of them merged the way they are in Glacier Keep, it just works so wonderfully, and it is a blast to play on. I love all 3 of these maps, so much fun, and I definitely recommend giving this a try. So, yeah, also there is one small rule change. Attacking teams have a shorter respawn time of just 5 seconds to compensate for the map being bigger, and remounting is enabled for all players, just like in Payload. There is no remounting animation, it's still just that instant remounting, but it definitely makes sense, and it was actually a feature in the original, so yeah, I'm actually happy with that being a thing. Really, really good, especially for champions like Skye. Oh my goodness. But yeah, how will you play this mode? Is it going to be like a weekend exclusive or something? Well, no. This mode will actually be available during the weekdays, although I guess it doesn't say it on the PTS here, or on the patch notes here, whether when it's actually available. But yeah, they did talk about this in the update show. It will be available during weekdays, and then on the weekends, it'll have special limited time rules. And I guess, yeah, it does say that here. We'll be trying something new with Anniversary. Instead of limited time modes, we will be adding gameplay rules from other modes into Siege Remixed to spin up the gameplay each weekend. So normal weekdays, you'll just have regular old Siege Remixed. But for the weekends, you could potentially have Cards to the Max, or Beefy Random, or Choose Any, or Knock Knock. A bunch of random rule sets could just show up magically. And yeah, it'll definitely be interesting, and I can't wait to try that out, because we didn't actually get to play that on the PTS. So yeah, really cool, really awesome game mode here, and I just wanted to reiterate how it works for those of you who are new. But yeah, next up we have some general updates here, and these were not listed in the previous patch notes, and we also get some more detailed information here, a bunch of stuff here. So champion pricing. A lot of champions are getting cheaper. Some of these really old champions are going down to 15,000 gold instead of 30,000 gold, and you can of course read them here, and then a bunch more champions are going from 60k to 30k. There are still far too many champions in this game who cost 60,000 gold in my opinion, but if you're a new player, this will definitely alleviate some of that headache if you are, trying to get all the champions and you feel like you're spending so much gold, you're just broke all the time, you don't have all the champions. Yeah, it'll make this less of a grind, which is definitely a good thing considering we nearly have 60 champions. So again, if you know somebody who would be interested in Paladins, if you know any new new players who just haven't played in a while, get them on the game. This is a great time to be playing Paladins, especially as a new player, but really just for everybody. So very great new player change here. Also, one last thing. Maeve is now a free champion, so you can just have her for free now. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think Lex is the only other free flank, and we definitely don't want to encourage people playing Lex. So yeah, this is a good change for that as well. So yeah, great stuff for new players. Bounty store compensation will also be happening. So when they sunset the bounty store, they said they were going to compensate people for, all the bounty coins and duplicate bounty store skins they had on their account, and it never happened. Why? Technical difficulties, I guess, but that will finally be happening this patch. So people who qualify will receive gold, boosters, or flare and style chests for their coin balance, and then those who own duplicate skins will receive gold, crystals, or diamond troves based on how many they had. So, yeah, they had some trouble properly implementing this, and it should be fixed now. It should be here, and so you should just log in and get a bunch of really cool stuff. Sounds good to me. Next up, Bright Marsh. There's only one picture here, which is a bit disappointing, because there are so many great angles you could have taken, so many great pictures you could have taken. And yeah, this map is basically getting restored. So for those who don't know, it's time for a little history lesson. Back in the open beta, in OB70, every single map that was currently playable in the game got a bunch of decorations removed. I'm talking dozens, if not 100 or two. Lots of decorations, lots of tiny little details, just snapped. They're gone. And those are coming back. And the first map to get those decorations back is Bright Marsh. And you can see so much more extra detail just in this one screenshot alone. So yeah, you can see, like, we got a bunch of potted plants here decorating the walls. We got a bunch of extra foliage on top of the buildings here. We got some extra foliage covering this as well. We got some little stepping stones here. We got some planter boxes down here. We even have, in the distance back here, some extra flowers and extra little bump on these to make them stand out more and feel more like proper, like, you know, planters with leaves and plants and stuff in them. So much more detail. You've got little flowers up here even. There's so much more detail. Bright Marsh already looked amazing, but now it looks even better. And I can tell you, playing on this map, it feels so much more alive. It is actually insane how good this map feels now. No layout changes happened to Bright Marsh, none at all. The Bright Marsh you still know and love is still here. But it just looks so much better now. It's not a rework. It's not like they totally redesigned the graphics from the ground up and accidentally made it worse to play on. Trade district. Don't keep. Excuse me. Yeah, no, nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. This is just restoring all of the details that were originally there in the open beta, and this is setting a precedent for other maps to get this treatment too, like Primal Court. Primal Court lost all its leaves. It's supposed to be in the middle of the jungle, but it looks like it could be in the middle of the desert. So I'm hoping that one gets this treatment next. But basically every map in the game that was around at the open beta that didn't get a rework, like Serpent Beach, for example, or Snowfall Junction, all these maps will hopefully get a bunch of extra details back. And this is only really possible because the Switch port is dead. Switch died so that Bright Marsh could live, is how I like to think about it. Of course, there's a lot more than just Bright Marsh, obviously. They didn't kill Switch for that. But now that Switch is gone, they no longer have to do these optimizations where they're just taking detail out of all this stuff and compensating for really crappy low-memory hardware. So yeah, this is really good for those of us who, you know, don't have to play on Switch. I still feel bad for Switch players, but at the same time I kind of don't, because the Switch experience was absolutely awful. But for the rest of us, this is just an absolute win, and I can't wait to see the rest of the maps in their full original glory. So that is very, very exciting. And again, it's just totally quality of life. I mean, technically they don't have to do this, but they should, because it's awesome. I like the game feeling alive and beautiful like this. It's just a great thing to do, honestly. Next up, there are a bunch of direct purchase skins being added back into the direct purchase pool. Of course, we can take a look at that. And I'm just going to kind of slowly scroll through this. You can read this. You can pause the video if you want. I'm not going to read all of them, but a bunch of stuff that you can just buy now, which is great. And yeah, we only have 2 more things here to get to in the general changes before we get to the balance changes. So first up are ranked bans. After listening to feedback surrounding ranked crossplay, we've begun working on various quality of life improvements for the mode. This update will be adding an additional ranked ban, increasing it to 4 per team. This will allow players to more comfortably ban enough characters to strategize. And yeah, they say various quality of life improvements for the mode, implying that more quality of life improvements are coming. For example, my biggest hope now, after seeing that we have a 4th ban here, is that there will be input icons. So you'll be able to see on both teams who is controller and who is keyboard, so that way you can ban accordingly, right? If you see 4 keyboard players on both teams and just 1 random controller player thrown in, you're going to be more likely to ban stuff that's good on keyboard and mouse, like Vatu, Bomb King, Eevee, stuff like that. But if you load into your ranked match and you see the opposite, you see 8 controller players and 2 keyboard players, then yeah, get Talus and Lex the heck out of here. Currently, you just have to guess. and it results in games feeling very awful when you accidentally ban the wrong stuff. You ban Vatu and BK, expecting them to be keyboard players, and then Lex and Koga show up on the enemy team and ruin your day. So yeah, this is definitely something I want to see, and hopefully that'll be here next patch. But for now, 4 bans will definitely make it a little bit better and easier to, you know, kind of make sure that you don't have these headaches where you're banning the wrong stuff, because you'll just be able to swap down more characters. And the last thing to talk about are the UI improvements coming to the game. So they've done some minor layout adjustments to the Versus screen to make champion previews more clearly visible and making text, including player names and titles, more legible on the actual loading frames themselves. So yeah, this will just be kind of just a change to the loading screen. Doesn't affect your gameplay at all. You'll notice it's a bit more zoomed in. It basically takes up more of the screen, and I mean, yeah, it's alright. It's just another UI improvement, and it'll take some getting used to, but it's honestly not that bad. Like, I know some people were writing about the previous UI changes to, like, the profile and stuff like that. This is not even close to being as major. It'll just be something you have to ease into. It's absolutely fine. And then the playstyle screen. This is something that might be a bit more tough to get used to. There has always been a bit of inconsistency between having our talents laid out in a row of 3, then having loadouts in rows of 2. We've updated this so both are in rows of 3, making it so the default loadouts match where the talents are, so that way new players can more easily find and select them. We've also made tracking which talent you picked from the loadout selection screen easier, and for supports with keywords we've done a polished pass on their visuals. So again, this is going to be... it's going to feel a bit more zoomed in. The talents are going to be a little bigger, which might kind of throw you off at first, but it'll just take, again, some more getting used to, and it does honestly look pretty nice. And then after you click on a talent, on the top left, you'll just see that talent still. And then you'll be able to choose your loadout, and they're just going to be in rows instead of columns of 2, basically. So yeah, that'll definitely take some getting used to, but again, it's a change that's not really like anything that I think should really warrant any hate. It's just something that you're going to have to get used to, and then once you are used to it, it'll be like, you know, it never changed in the first place, and hopefully it'll feel a little bit better, especially for those newer players who are going to have, you know, their default loadouts now just correlating perfectly with each of the talents. So yeah, last little note here. Next up, we can talk about the balance. And of course, I did already go over most of these changes in my last video, so I'm just going to rapid fire through these, but if you want more detailed sort of explanations and commentary on them, then go check out that video. But just for the people who only want to hear the balance changes, I'm going to quickly rattle them off. So, 2 item changes. Bulldozer is getting more effective, going from 75% increased damage to 90% increased damage. Rejuvenate is getting nerfed. It's getting more expensive, going from 600 credits at max to 675 credits at max, or 225 credits now for tier 1, meaning that some item synergies at the very start of the match will no longer be possible. Atlas. This is very important. He got changed from the PTS, okay? So Second Chance is still getting its cooldown reduced from 18 seconds to 16 seconds, but Temporal Divide will now no longer have its cooldown penalty removed. Instead, it's getting reduced from 65% down to 30%, and it is still getting its duration reduced from 5 seconds down to 3.5 seconds. And they said that they really don't like having cooldowns above 20 seconds, which is why they even thought to remove the cooldown penalty in the first place. There was tremendous outcry to not get rid of the cooldown penalty, and so they're adding the cooldown penalty back, but making it slightly lower, so that way it's still not above 20 seconds, but you still have that cooldown penalty, so it's still not as spammable. And of course, in conjunction with the duration change, I think this is going to be, well, much more fair than was originally planned on the PTS, and especially due to the duration nerf, it'll hopefully be a bit more bearable, at least, you know, to just fight against, because it'll cut the map in half for a less amount of time. It will happen slightly more frequently now, but I mean, I guess it's just a bit of a trade-off. And at the end of the day, this is something that'll probably only affect high elo ranked anyways. So yeah, it's I guess an interesting change. I'm glad to see that the cooldown penalty is coming back, even though it's coming back only basically halfway. Azan remains mostly unchanged from the PTS, but one planned buff didn't make the cut. So he is no longer getting the health buff, but he's still getting the Sanctuary cooldown buff from 14 seconds to 13 seconds, and his ire is still getting much greater uptime. So the rate of ire generation on damage dealt and taken is increased by 17%. Increased delay before draining ire from 2.5 seconds to 3 seconds, and reduced the decay of ire by 10%. If I see anyone picking Eternal this update, I'm reporting you. There is no reason to pick Eternal now. These buffs basically mean you have permanent ire as long as you're actually in a fight. Eternal will just nerf your DPS, and that's it. Do not pick Eternal. Please, I swear, don't do it. I still think these buffs are wholly unnecessary, and I still think he needs talent reworks, because Persistence and Eternal are total jokes. They're not real talents. Eternal nerfs are DPS, and Persistence is just Life Rip 3. He needs better talents, but his base kit is extraordinarily strong. It's what keeps him in the meta in the first place. And so, yeah, I'm not really sure why that base kit is then getting buffed, but you do you, Evil Mojo. Anyways, back to rattling off changes. Bomb King is getting a huge change, but because I'm rattling off changes, you're going to have to go watch my other update notes video for more detailed descriptions on that. I also have a gameplay video you can watch of this rework on my channel, so I'll have that linked in the cards up right now. But yeah, Bomb King getting a Royal Subjects rework. So they are taking the old Royal Subjects, which increase the radius of his sticky bombs, and removing it. Now, it grants a second charge of Poppy Bomb, but reduces the knockback effect against enemies by 40%. So you can't really use it as an offensive knockback anymore, but you have 2 charges of your movement ability. This is so much fun. It enables so much tech. It makes Bomb King a hyper-mobile explosive machine of death. But it also raises the skill floor because his bombs are much harder to hit now. So yeah, people who relied on Royal Subjects as a crutch are going to have a much more difficult time playing Bomb King this update. But those of us who are experienced Bomb King mains, oh, we're going to have so much fun. It's going to be amazing. So this is probably my favorite balance change of the update. I absolutely love this, and yeah, I can't wait to play it. I'm probably going to go play it after this video releases. So yeah, moving on, Caspian is getting a very small buff. Finer Things is his movement speed card after shooting someone with Love. This is getting its duration increased from 1 second to 2 seconds, so a partial revert of the Shadow nerf. Grover is getting his damage increased from 300 to 350, but his healing is going down, on Rampant Blooming in particular. The initial heal on Rampant Blooming, not the base Blossom, is going from 500 to 425, and the healing over time on Rampant Blooming is going from 300 to 275. Genos is getting some healing nerfs across the board. His Astral Mark is getting a duration nerf from 12 seconds to 11 seconds, the initial heal is going from 450 to 400, and his cooldown is going up from 6 seconds to 7 seconds. So overall, much less uptime and much less burst, but he's still going to be more powerful than before the buffs. Kasumi is getting some quality of life, so her yokai doll will now enter a locked animation when she fires without a valid target, which also includes audio to indicate a failure to hit someone. But when she does hit someone, they've reverted the firing change to how she attacks initial targets from tap to hold, meaning I think you can just hold down left click again. So, yay, Kasumi. Anyways, nobody cares. Screw you. I hate you. Kinessa is getting some very nice adjustments and a new sort of semi-rework. So her Carbine mode is getting reduced bloom and increased return to center speed. Basically, her Carbine is going to be more accurate now. She's getting a new passive called Tag 'em and Bag 'em, where hitting targets in sniper mode now reveals them to Kinessa for 1 second. It's not a global reveal where everyone on her team will be able to see them, it's just a personal reveal, so only Kinessa will be able to see the reveal. But the point is, yeah, she can reveal people now just by sniping them. Pretty powerful. And then Quickscope is getting implemented into Base Kit. This is the card that gave her aim down sight speed, so basically she could scope in faster. That's being implemented into Base Kit at level 3, and it is getting turned into a card that now increases the duration of the passive reveal by up to 1.25 seconds. And then Generator is also getting its scaling increased to 1.25%. So a bunch of really nice changes here for Kinessa to make Kinessa feel a bit better to play, but of course, the reveal is going to be very interesting and very powerful, especially in the hands of a Kinessa main. Up next, Leon is getting a precision buff, so the duration of the stacks are going up from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Very small buff. Makoa Shell Shield is getting its duration increased from 4 seconds to 5 seconds, also a very small buff, but it will affect all playstyles, not just half shell. but of course, it will affect Half Shell the most because it is the shield playstyle. Pip is getting some very nice changes here. His weapon damage is going back up to 600 from 570, so Combat Medic will be able to kill its own chickens again, and this is also a very nice buff to Mega Potion and Catalyst, as both of them have the damage keywords. Combat Medic is also getting its healing reduced from 750 to 700, which then will be increased by 20% with the keyword yada yada. Point is, the nerf is more like a 90 to 100 healing nerf. I forget the exact math, but basically, Combat Medic taking a big nerf to its healing. Ray is getting some very nice changes here, and Ray mains should be rejoicing in the streets. This is awesome. So the chain heal is getting two very nice buffs. The range is going up from 120 to 150, but the big buff is that the healing is getting buffed from 520 and then 676 while linked to 600 at base and 780 while linked. This is a big healing buff, and it feels awesome. It was amazing to play with this on the PTS, and it's going to make Ray a much more powerful healer. And then her ultimate is getting its self-damage immunity restored, so the damage reduction is going back up to 100%, meaning Ray mains no longer have to worry about dying during ult. Going to be very annoying to play against, but for Ray players, this is a very powerful buff. So Ray getting a lot of good stuff for this update. Terminus is getting a very nice quality of life buff to his ultimate. Still no buffs to stuff like his axe or his Shatterfall, but his ultimate is getting stronger. So Revival will now refill the power siphon on use, meaning it is now a total complete resurrection. He'll respawn with full health, he'll have his Calamity Blast back, he'll have his Shatterfall back, and he'll have his power siphon back. So he basically gets everything reset on his ultimate now. And then finally, Yaggoroth is getting a reworked, well, it's not really a rework, it's just a bunch of number changes to Unnatural Persistence. It's basically getting a slower healing tick rate, but each of those ticks will be more powerful. So, yeah, it's still Unnatural Persistence. Don't play it. It's a point tank talent for a character who should never be on point. Yeah, Yaggoroth. Oh, God, I hate Yaggoroth. Anyways. And lastly, we have some bug fixes. There's only a few, but I'm sure they've fixed more stuff behind the scenes. They do a really bad job of including all the bug fixes, and sometimes they even include some changes like in the balance section and stuff, so this probably isn't everything, but there is some important stuff here. So some loading frames have been updated to basically better display player information. They should look better now. And then limited time modes are getting some pretty nice changes here. So limited time modes now have deserter queue. If you leave, you'll get a deserter. And you'll also be able to see limited time modes in your match history. Return to lobby as a button that's just available on your menu during these limited time modes should no longer show up. And yeah, they restated that the mode should properly show up in your match history. I don't know why they stated that twice, but yes. Limited time modes basically will act more like a real mode now, which is pretty good. And then there are some known issues here. 8 Oceans Ruckus End Screen doesn't display a preview icon. Players who buy all Anniversary chests before earning the free one will be stuck with an additional chest. Switching between Anniversary and Midnight Masquerade passes can cause visual errors, and the deal of the day will be temporarily unavailable for this update, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, there we go. That is basically the entire update, everything important in it. Bunch of balance changes, a few changes after the PTS. I think this Kasumi change also wasn't there on the PTS and has been added since. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, we got some good explanations for a lot of the stuff that was kind of missing in the last patch notes, and also a good explanation of the anniversary event that's coming up here where you can get a bunch of free stuff. So if you found this video to be helpful, then make sure, of course, to drop a like and subscribe. I'll be making a bunch of videos on the balance changes and the skins and all that lovely stuff coming up here very soon, so you won't want to miss out on that. Also, check out my Twitch channel where I'll probably be streaming a lot of those games live. And yeah, don't forget to also check out the VODs channel in case you do miss the Twitch streams. All the VODs will be permanently uploaded on my VODs channel. They won't get deleted after 2 months like they do on Twitch, because Twitch does that for some reason. Lastly, of course, if you want to buy some crystals to buy maybe the rest of these new chests, for example, then please consider doing so at my Nexus, nexus.gg/AndrewChicken. You can buy crystals for the normal price you would in-game, but a portion of the proceeds go to supporting this channel directly. So I would really appreciate it if you would check that out, and all the links for everything I just mentioned will be linked in the description, so go check all of that out. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.